Alright, so I got my truck. It's a 2003 Ram 1500. Started having some pretty bad issues one morning. As you can see, there is something major missing. So, but yeah, I pulled out the motor after doing a bunch of changing out of injectors and you name it. Seemed to be running on one cylinder. Seemed to be running on 4 cylinders. Did a bunch of checking and come to find out the motor, after changing all the sensors and doing everything that should have fixed it, the issue, it seemed to be running on one cylinder. As you can see, that was the one cylinder. I keep saying it running on one cylinder. It actually was running on what seemed to be 4 cylinders. But it was just running terrible no matter what sensor I changed or whatever. There was no real noise. There was a slight tick, but it's a Dodge. It's got 225,000 miles on it, and it's always got a slight tick. And this actually was caused by the valve seat dropping out and then getting slammed back in place. You can see it there on the left. And so no matter what I was going to do, it wasn't going to fix it. So I ended up pulling out the motor. Right now I'm just doing kind of a slight honing of the actual valves. Goodness sakes, of the bores, and then I'm gonna start putting her back together. So, but yeah, it's been fun. So it'll have a full rebuild all the way out. So Rock Auto come through on that. Goodness sakes. What I ended up doing was I just went ahead. I thought the heads were going to be a lot more expensive than they were, but they aren't. They're only like $350 a piece. The new heads come with valve seats. They come with the valve guides in them. And so it comes with the new cam, I can't remember what they're called, top bolts, and then or cap bolts, and then it comes with those and everything ready to roll. So I'll have to transfer over some parts, the end cap here, the plug in the end, that gets me into the chain, screw access, bolt access. I'll probably change that over. Just little things here and there. But other than that, I got to get a new ground strap that broke. But other than that, the rebuild kit comes with like everything new. It's pretty crazy. These guides are new. I actually redid the head gaskets before. But so I actually put new chain guides in, new chain tensioners and everything. But yeah, it comes with like all the gaskets. I went ahead and got a new water pump. They actually make one that's so the original comes with a plastic impeller, and the new one that I bought actually has a billet, I believe it's a billet aluminum or a cast aluminum impeller. So that'd be good. This is the tool. It took me a little while to find. Ended up finding that at Harbor Freight for $25. It's a cylinder honing tool, and it's pretty awesome. You just put a little oil down inside the cylinders, and you just run it through it a couple times just to make sure she's nice and smooth, and then clean her out. She's good to go. They were pretty smooth. There were no gouges or anything, but I just wanted to make sure she was nice and ready to roll, so I don't have any issues coming down the pipe from that. So we'll keep rolling. We'll keep kind of doing some updates on it, but yeah, we'll do the do the cylinder hone. I'm going to clean everything up, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the crank back in, and all the bearings and everything. They all come brand new. These are the old ones, and all the bolts and everything. But yeah, it's a lot of parts to come off just to take the motor out. Practically had to take off the front end, and I had to jack the front end up to actually get the crane inside it, the hoist, and then yeah. So if you can get a 2-ton with the what do you call it, with the 2003 Ram, if you can get a 2-ton jack, I just didn't do it. I just didn't think it would be an issue. I thought I'd have plenty of reach, but the 2-ton has a little bit longer neck on it, so that would definitely help in that aspect. But I just happened to get the 1-ton and didn't think I'd need the other. So and then everything else has been pretty straightforward. First time for everything, I guess. Yeah, it's been one of them days and nights last night. So it's been an interesting one, to say the least. Ram decided to crap out on me. 4.7 started having some pretty major issues, burning tons of oil, a little bit of a rod knock, and so instead of $6-7 grand to go buy a new truck, we're gonna do it for a lot cheaper. So yeah, here we are. Motor's on its way out right now, so good times. All right, little side note here. So I watched a video about taking a 2000, or actually it's taking a 4.7 liter out of a vehicle, and they were mentioning that you had to drop the transmission down and then to be able to reach the top 2 bolts, that one and that one. You don't have to. If you take the top plenum off before, you can actually get right to them. So I'm sure other people have figured that out, but I thought I'd put it out there for you. So 2003 Dodge Ram with a 4.7 Magnum. All right, so let's see. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I believe cylinder 4. This one here, the one that had the angled spring, is missing a keeper. And the crazy part is I have no freaking clue where it's at. So that's probably not that good. So we will see what happens when we open up the motor, take off the heads. So okay, wow. Got the heads off. Left one looks good. All the valves look all right, and got the right one off. The one that was pretty positive was gonna have issues, and I'm gonna just give you a little peeksy here because it is effed up. Ta-da! Look at that crap. I do not know what caused that or that. All I know is that this seat here, this valve seat, has dropped down. So I have to do a little bit of research because see, it should be flush just like that. As you can see, this is not flush. I honestly, I don't really have a clue what happened, how that happened. That's just insane. Everything else, all of them look all right. You know, seated. And this is the one that I've wondered that just has the issue. This one here is the one where I could literally remove the, what do you call it? The, I could literally remove the rocker by my hand. And then this here, the valve, I can't even push this valve down. It will not go in. It is like completely jammed shut. So then we come over here, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's weird that it's dropped down. That obviously they've got small tolerances for the pistons, I'll bet you the piston is jacked up. And guess which one it is? I bet you can't. I bet you. Oh, there it is. Winner, winner. And that sucker is freaking gouged like no other, man. That's insane. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, there we are. That would be the problem. Or one of. That was never going to be fixed by anything on the outside. So no matter what sensor I changed, no matter what happened, that was not going to be fixed. So evidently, this seems to be a problem that the early 2000s and mid-2000s Dodge Ram 4.7 liter heads had, where they'll just drop a seat randomly, damaging your piston, damaging your head, as you can see here, or damaging all three, the valve, the head, and the piston, which then results in a rebuild. I would suggest buying the heads from Rock Auto to come with the seats in, as well as the guides for the valves. Alright, I've never used one of the honing tools, so impressed with it. Probably everybody else probably used one, but I've never done this before. This is my first time rebuilding the motor. So yeah, it's a learning curve for me, but it does a pretty freaking good job. I threw some engine oil down in there, and it's what the back of the thing says to use. Threw a little engine oil in each one, ran it down there several times, pretty good high speed, and it does a nice job. They're good looking cylinders now, so gotta keep pushing forward on it. So far so good, no hiccups, but we're gonna be putting in the crank right now, I think, in just a couple minutes, and then we'll work on the pistons and go from there. Okay, got the first set of bearings in, and thrust washers. I think that thrust washers. These things right here. Those are in, and so we're going to start working over here. We're going to start put the bearings in on this, clean this thing up, finish cleaning it up, and then might try and knock some of this off. Actually, I think that's more casting stuff than anything. It's just this, they never ground it down. They ground it to what they needed it to be. So yeah, we'll just go through and clean it up. I did put the rear main seal on, brand new. It comes all in the kit. So once we get this on, this gets a black RTV that covers all of this, and then this thing, put the crank in, and then bolt the crank bed plate, the bed plate here, and that'll all get torqued down, and then that'll dry. We'll set up over the next day. I think I want to say it's 24 hours for the black RTV to fully set, but obviously being the first time, it's not going to be that fast, so this is going to be a couple day process, getting everything changed out, and then we'll work on the pistons. Yeah, one thing at a time. So right now we're working on the crank bed, and all the bearings. So make sure you're using a lot of assembly lube when you're putting them in. Make sure you're putting them on. I put them on both sides. It kind of helps keep them in place. And then same on here. It'll help keep them in place. They are like a pressure ring. They're like a pressure fit though. So they do stay pretty well. But if you use the assembly lube, it just kind of helps hold it, because you do have to tip this thing up. The crank goes in first, and then this thing flips right here, flips there, and then everything gets torqued down. So we'll follow the factory torque specs that I found online, several different places. It's kind of easy to find. You just got to do a little research. Okay, a little side note here too. Also, when you're putting these bearings in, bed plate and in the block, there are bearings with holes, and there are bearings with no holes. Okay, obviously, I'm sure you could probably shove that in that spot, but, and maybe you couldn't actually. Now I'm looking. Yeah, no, you could, because there's a mark. So make sure there's a little tooth right here, right there. and that tooth would line up with the same one over here. But just make sure that when you do it, you make the holes line up with the holes, because that hole there actually is a port for oil, and that's what feeds the oil into each bearing, and then allows your engine not to actually seize up on the bearings. So, all right, so it's in. Well, I should say it's sitting on the block. All the bearings are in, and all the bearings are, gear lubed. Assembly lubed, and ready to kind of put back together. So I got a little bit of stuff I'll clean off before I put on the RTV, and then we'll crank her down and get her done. So yeah, so far so good. Pretty easy. It's a little time consuming, just sitting here lubing up each one. I went ahead and lubed up before I put it in. I put the assembly lube on all of them, because these obviously are where your conrods are going to go, and the bearings, so they'll need it as well. So I went ahead and just did it all at the same time. That way I don't have to try and finagle my fingers and get them, my big fat fingers inside, all of these little spots while it's in here. And then obviously we've got the rear main seal here, and yeah, it should be good. So we're in all the RTV around all the holes and everything that I looked like they match right up with the other. So I ran it up to the rear seal here, and then ran it around all the bolt holes. They were outside. That will be like outside the oil pan, and I'm not really sure on that one. I can't really remember with that one. I don't think that one was a big deal, but I ran it out there. I might have to wipe it off anyway. But one of the things that I wasn't real sure on was the color of the RTV. So I went and looked. I went to O'Reilly's actually, and here comes my dog randomly from the backyard. Hey buddy. Anyway, the RTV, the way he explained it, red is for heat, black is for oil, blue is for water. That's the way he explained it. The black is, the gray is actually for the super high vibration, stuff like that. But he said that, and I remember actually taking off the RTV, it was black when I scraped off the RTV originally from the block. So, yeah, so that is what they suggested, was black RTV. I have seen guys using blue, and they said do not use blue. I don't know if it matters, but I'm going with the black because that's what everybody else that I've talked to has said. So that's what we're doing. All right, so after you put the RTV on, per the RTV package, whatever company, they say go ahead and you tighten it down just until you start to see the RTV begin to squeeze out. Leave it, and then put them all in, kind of tighten them down, snug them just a little bit till you start to see it ooze, and then you got to let it sit for an hour, and then you can come back and torque spec everything down. So some of these will get, I believe it's these center bolts here that are over the bearings. Those get torqued down, and then they get like a plus a 90-degree turn, and then everything else will get torqued down to spec. But yeah, that was the one thing. So if you forget to take a picture, I did take a picture, which helped, because the actual torque spec diagram of with the order to tighten everything down, they don't tell you what bolt is what. They tell you what bolt gets torqued down to what, but they don't tell you which bolt goes where. So they do tell you where the stud is, but they don't tell you there's a short stud and two long studs. So if you forget the picture, yeah, I mean, you can kind of, deduce from, there's two of them and one of them, but whatever. I actually, looking at that thing, I actually put the long one in here, but the short one goes here, long one here, and these are all 15 millimeter, Forgot to tighten those down a little bit, but they're all right. These are the long 15 millimeter. Here. These, and they get shorter. They get shorter as they go out. So these are long. These are shorter 15s. I'm sorry, those are shorter 13s. 13 all the way around. 13 and 13. These centers are 15s. And then it comes out here. These are, again, 13, 13, 13, 13, but they're shorter than these ones inside. Then these ones are 10s. And again, you cannot put these inside the 10s. So you can kind of work your way out from there. But again, 13, 10, 10, 10. So there you go. If you forget, now you got it. So we'll keep putting her together. But while this is drying, we're going to go work on all the pistons and get them taken apart. Put the conrods on the new piston heads, and put in the rings and get those ready to go as well. Okay. So, yeah, the conrods. Yeah. So you think everything's going to be, kind of interchangeable, like super easy. However, so we have the conrod. We have what attaches the conrod and piston head, right? Well, so the original, here you see, is pressed in. It is pressed in place by a large mechanical press. They, are right in here. And so, they spin. That's all good. It's great. It's pressed into this right here, into the conrod, right here. And they are really, really, really stuck. So I don't have a hydraulic press. So what I did, took obviously old, and this is what I found, and it works amazing. So I'm gonna keep using it. Just got to get it centers up. It centered it up, and then it allowed the edges to kind of make its own spot that holds inside that rod there, and then you just commence to beating the absolute crap out of it, gently as can. The one thing I made sure to do is not allow this to get down here. I hold it up, put your foot under it, do whatever you got to do, so you're not whacking on it and making it bent, getting it bent. But took me a little bit. Once this kind of gets partially out of the head, as soon as it gets past the conrod, it comes right out. It just shoots out the other side. So yeah, so just beat the crap out of it until it starts coming out. Now I got it to a point where I kind of actually held it up in the air and then just hit it with a hammer. So some of y'all may not be able to do that, but I did. That's what I did. The piston, I'm not reusing the piston, so I just went ahead and set it down and and like I said, lift it up, because if you allow it to, the both sides are not even, so it'll sit on an angle. If you look at it, just sit on an angle. It should be, you can do it like this, kind of hold it up so you're just beating straight down, and then just make sure that you're not contacting the conrod area in here. And then the new one, the conrod. I don't know if I showed that or not. The conrod there, but the new one, like I said, I think I showed it before. This comes out like pretty easy. It like slides in and out, and then there's a little I don't know what they're called. Jeez, tension ring, tension pin ring. I don't know. Spring ring. I don't know. Whatever the heck they're called. Those go in each end, so it keeps it from actually flying out on its own. So, yeah. But we got 7 more to do, and it does take a little bit to do it. So, your arm will probably be tired by the time you're done, but it's all good. It's part of the deal. Okay, after beating the crap out of these things, getting the little rods, connector rods, whatever they are, press pins out of there, got all the conrods separated. That little groove lines up with the side of the piston that says front, or F I should say, and it lines up with all of them like that. So I'm going to change out the bearings, and I got to put the pistons together, put the rings in there, put the pin in, get them attached to the conrods, and then start putting them in. Yeah, so that's the next thing. We got the crank in, everything's torqued down. So, and I was correct on the time as far as the, if you're quicker at it, is whatever, you're probably not watching this video, but this takes 24 hours to cure, and then it'll be good to go. Bit of an update. You know how you think something's going to be so much better, and they're like, oh, they fixed the issue, or they fixed the way it's done, or whatever, and it's going to be super easy the second time. It's not true. So just ignore your thought. Just let that go, and then realize, no, it's still going to be difficult. So anyway, that being said, here is what I'm talking about. So as you can see, those little spring inside circle spring rings, whatever they're called, yeah, they do go in there. They do go in. They're great. And the only thing that those are for are literally holding the piston conrod in the center, or close to the center. Yeah, so these are still pressed in, but again, I don't have a press, so I had to do it the reverse of the way that I did it the time before. So I took out the rings, I took off the rings again after putting them in, and then I had to knock this through using a hammer and that large spike from the railroad tie. It worked. It's kind of yeah, it worked. It was a pain, and I'm hoping it didn't cause any issues. I'm sure somebody will tell me that I did F it up or something. I don't know. So whatever. But it got them in. They're together. So next I'm going to go ahead and I'll change the bearings out, and we'll go ahead and put it in. Put them back in their cylinders, put them back in their homes. So ready, here we go, off to the next step. All right, got you a little side note here. So you see the bearing right here has this notch that evidently was deleted in about the last 4 years, about 4 years ago. Freaked me out a little bit because I thought, great, now I don't have the proper bearings, because if you look at the new bearing, no notch. So let's see here. Yeah, no notch. Come on, man. There we go. No notch on either side. So it a little bit freaked me out a little bit, but that's actually not what holds it in. There's actually on the crank, there's a spot that holds the whole bearing in place and the whole rod, the conrod. So yeah, a little bit freak out, but I was good. No, I was good. So now you know.